Is everybody in? Is everybody in? The ceremony is about to begin. Welcome to the Ring of Fire podcast, episode number 6. Today, I am excited to welcome Amanda onto this episode. When I go way back into the history of Obsidian Butterfly Sacred Fire Dance, Amanda was one of my early students who came to learn poi and fire dancing. And it's been quite a long time since I have been in touch with Amanda, so I'm thoroughly looking forward to today's episode. Amanda considers herself a 44-year-old brat. She mentioned that she's looking to get back into fire spinning because it was something that she found calming and peaceful for her soul. She's worked in a corporate setting and she has said she made good money, but it really wasn't for her. She's worked with veterans and homeless individuals, and she found that that actually filled her heart. She is currently a seeing eye dog with a person who is a middle school student and who is blind. And she is finding that this is an amazing experience for her and helps her know that we're all perfect. So no matter what ability we have or do not have, it's all about honoring our perfection. So I am excited to bring Amanda onto this episode, and we'll get into the conversation and see what unfolds today. Please remember to subscribe to this podcast as well as like this video and share it with anyone that you think might benefit from today's conversation. Thank you for watching, and I will now go forward and welcome Amanda onto today's episode. Thank you. Welcome, Amanda, to the Ring of Fire podcast. It's nice to see you today.
Nice to see you too. I've missed your face.
I've missed yours as well. I know it's been like so incredibly long. It's always that moment when it's been a long time, but it also doesn't feel like it's been a long time.
Oh, 100%. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I was working on Dell's podcast because I weave into these some of the pictures and videos from way back in the day. And so there was one where we did like one of maybe the Harvest Moon festivals, and Rusty, the photographer, came out and kind of put a lot of effort into like video. And there's this one clip of you with your like fake eyelashes on and your eyes like looking over towards the camera and then away. And that's just like, so that was awesome, as I was kind of knowing that we were going to be talking, and I saw that little clip of like, oh yeah, I totally remember like Amanda way back in the day.
Yay! I love it. I remember that too because I remember those ridiculous eyelashes.
Yeah, those were great. Like those were memorable eyelashes. Like, and that was before you can go get them, like, pay a membership to have your eyelashes done like every couple of weeks kind of, and have really awesome long eyelashes moments. So you had to put those on yourself, huh?
Yes, and then now I wear glasses all the time, so I can't wear them anymore.
Right. Well, why don't we start with you sharing with the people who might be watching who you are, what you do.
I've come a long way. My name's Amanda. I've really come into myself. I'm 44 now, and still growing up, which is super fun. My family's good. I do not have any kids. I've never wanted kids, but I work with kids, which is kind of funny. I'm a seeing eye dog. I'm a one-on-one aide for a visually impaired girl, and she's 14, and she is absolutely fabulous. Like she makes me a better person. She's super sweet. She's down to earth. She's just nice. I've been married for 20 years. But together for 24, because I count the time I put in. It's like a prison sentence. You don't get out for good behavior. I've tried to be good. Doesn't work. Um, so yeah, I'm just living as happily as I possibly can because it's so much easier to be nice than be a dickhead.
I mean, honestly, so it might be easier for some people to be the other. However, like in general, right? I know for me, my quality of life feels better when I feel like I'm a nicer person.
Exactly. And it's so easy.
Right, exactly. How did you get into becoming a seeing eye dog?
It was super random. I was actually an art and PE teacher at an elementary school. I had like 400 kids. I didn't know any of their names except for the bad ones. Um, and then I needed benefits. So I decided to go through the district to get a job with benefits. And that's kind of how, like, I walked into school one day and they handed me keys and they handed me a student with no training.
Okay.
And that's
And
how I ended up with my girl.
yeah, and it's kind of interesting how you like it too. Like it kind of happened and you really are enjoying it too, right?
Yes, I get paid pennies. Like I barely get paid, but it's so worth it because I'm happy. Like it's
Hmm.
an easy job. And she's a good kid.
Right. Yeah, sometimes the things that we enjoy the most, that bring the most passion, are not always the things that are, it's like we can go after the money or we can go after the experience. And I know sometimes they match up. Like I feel like I've been fortunate because for part of my experience, it kind of aligned for a while where it was both. And I was like, oh, wow, I can't believe this is happening. However, then eventually it was like rubber band snap back. It was like, oops, too soon. Done. Like back to reality. So, yeah, so it's kind of awesome though, when you find something that brings you that sense of like peace and enjoyment, that it kind of just takes away the financial part of it. Hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just I had a job where I made really, really good money, but I wasn't happy.
Hmm.
And this makes me so happy. Plus I get to, shut the door and go home and it's easy.
Right. Yeah, that's actually how I got into fire dancing, Amanda, was I was working like a corporate job and it was made me miserable and I was making good money and I set out on a mission to find something that I love doing. And I didn't even know fire dancing existed. And
Oh,
like,
really?
I didn't, it was like a long time ago. It was so far from my reality at the time. And through a very random, like meandering path, I ended up doing fire dancing. And so and how much like I enjoyed it. And kind of later on even had put it all together that came from that seed intent of like, walking out of corporate America and trying to find something that really lit my heart up and it turning out to be something that I would have never known existed. And, I guess in some way that's kind of like, did you ever think that you would get joy or peace out of being a seeing eye dog?
No, no, because I thought, just I thought that was my life, just a corporate job, like go in, wearing heels, dressing up, all of that BS. And then once I realized there was more to it than that, it was so much nicer. And yeah, like I don't get paid well, but it makes me happy. And
When
that
did
means more than
you
anything.
When did like how long ago did you leave that corporate world?
That's when I lived in California. So like 2016, I think I left. And we moved to Las Vegas. And then I worked with veterans and the homeless. And it was like the craziest experience of my life. Um, just because, trying to find someone who is homeless and help them find housing and veterans, and I worked there for 3 years, but I took way too much home with me. Um, it was very exhausting because I had some of my clients were shot, some of them died, and it just was exhausting. And then we moved up here to Reno, and I was like, I need a job. So I kind of just fell into it. Super random, but it's perfect.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy that you found something that you're able to like find the joy from and also like walk away from. Because I imagine that, yeah, being with the veterans and homeless could be very challenging to, there's a lot of emotional, like a lot of, challenging situations there. And it would be really hard to just like, well, that was work and now I'm going to go home to my home.
Yeah.
And
Well, and
meanwhile,
it got to the point like where I would come home and Billy would be like, "Oh, how was your day?" I'm like, it was fine. And then, we'd be making dinner and something. I'm like, "Oh yeah, so someone pulled a gun. I had to be walked out to my car." He's like, "You didn't lead with that?" I'm like, "This is normal." And once that got to be normal, it wasn't okay.
right. Yeah. How did you How did you support yourself when you came out of that to like create like what was needed for you to move beyond the effects of that living in that type of environment? Because that can feel very jarring to our nervous system. So then to like, how did you reset your nervous system out of that?
Well, I had a swimming pool at our house, and I would just float in the water, just float. And I used to do, and I haven't done it in a while, but the sensory deprivation tanks,
Mhm.
I absolutely love. There's one that was in Auburn, I believe. Um, and that just like reset everything to where I could come into like a quiet place and just be happy.
Yeah. Yeah, like I love the sensory deprivation tanks, and it's just occurring to me where you live. There's this. I actually want to go out there and check this out. They have a showroom or something where you can go test it out, but it's this quantum wellness healing device that works with like scalar energy, and it's like called the Rasha, and they have a showroom or somewhere in your location. And I've been thinking like I need to go out there and check that out and see what that's about. It's a little side note, so.
Yeah, yeah, you definitely show me the information. I'll look into that for sure.
I definitely will for sure. So, okay. So let's go way back. Like when you came to fire dance classes, you came with a couple friends and, what drew you to seek out fire dance classes way back in the day? What was your story?
I was sitting at work and my girlfriend sent me an instant messenger. She's like, "Hey, you want to try fire dancing?" I was like, "Sure." Why not? And basically, it was we found you online. I think we found you on Craigslist, and we're like, "Yeah, let's go downtown. Let's give it a try." And it was just such a nice experience, and everybody was just in the moment and wonderful and comforting more than anything. So that's how we found you.
Yeah, do you remember like that was like what to around 2008, 2009-ish kind of area or was yeah, like maybe 2010. I don't always remember. I know I have it written somewhere.
It was like 2009, 2008, 2009.
Yeah. So yeah, the back alley back there, just kind of
Mhm.
like it's interesting how so many of the people that have come through have come with friends. And it's kind of fun when that happens because you've got like learning buddies, right? Uh,
Mhm.
are you still connected with that group of people?
Nope.
It's
Unfortunately,
funny how life changes and, and moves and ebbs and flows. So, um,
I still am in contact with her every once in a while, but it did not end well.
got it. Okay. And I know there was like three of you that came. So okay, so one of the friendships at least needed to end apparently and didn't end in the best way. And we give our appreciation to those endings, right? As much, sometimes just it's necessary for we come together in people's lives for a reason and for a period of time. And
And I
some
don't regret any part of our friendship. Like, it was fabulous when it was.
no, I know you came together over poi, right? Poi was always the thing that like I taught everybody was poi, and then there was other things that happened as well. Do you
Yeah.
remember what your favorite thing was?
Learning to eat fire.
Okay.
That was really cool because it was something that I never thought I would do. Like, oh my God, I'm going to eat fire. Like, I literally learned how to eat fire. And then when I went to the dentist, they're like, oh, has anything changed over this year? I'm like, well, yeah, I started to eat fire. And then my dentist was like, you did what? I was like, is it bad on my teeth or anything? He's like, no, it's fine, but okay, just continue to do what you're doing, but just be safe. It was really funny. That was fun. And then making the torches and teaching other people how to do it. That
Yeah.
was really cool.
Yeah. Awesome. Do you still fire eat ever?
I actually have my torches out on my kitchen table at home because I'm going to learn it again. Because it's easy to learn again. Just I need to get back into it
Right.
because it's so much fun.
Absolutely. And it's important to do things in life that you think are fun, right?
And then the snakes. I did really, really like the snake poi that you taught us. I burnt myself a lot, but it was fun. If that even makes sense. I'm like, oh no, third-degree burn, it's fine.
Did you really get a third degree burn from them?
I don't know, probably. I mean, I never went to the doctor or anything, but it was fun.
What did you find the most challenging? Do you remember? Like what was something that was really challenging about like learning or fire dance or whatnot?
Um, because I was in my 30s, just trying to figure out myself for one, but you had to be so focused when you're playing with fire. I mean, obviously, so you don't get third-degree burns, and just hearing the fire go by your ears, and it just takes you into a completely different space. And uh, the challenging part was focusing on that to not hurt myself, not hurt other people. Um, and I felt more centered, if that makes sense.
Mhm. So it helped you kind of center yourself a little bit.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I people will ask me, oh, that, they'll talk about it in a way when they're not always totally understanding it, like it's very transcendent. Like it takes it, they're like, oh, it must take you like way out of your body and you can like zone out. And I'm like, no, it really gets you embodied, right? Like you don't
You
want to
can't
do
zone
that.
out.
Like, yeah, I mean, there's definitely been points like in shows that I've done where it's been a repeat run of shows and at some point having done the same routine like over and over again, like I found myself being, it was kind of like an out of body experience where I was in my body, but I felt like I was definitely more than just my body or something in the moment. And I was like this machine where every step was just boom, 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 go. And I was just like, what is happening here? Like, yeah, and those are really cool moments, but for the most part, yeah, absolutely full embodiment, especially in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that it's not safe when we're like, let me just close my eyes and zone out here and just
You can't.
not a good idea, right? Um, yeah, awesome. So what kind of impact do you think that period of time or like fire had on your life, if any?
Oh, definitely it did. It made me become more present in myself because when you've got fire spinning around your freaking head, you have to be present, you have to be aware, and you have to be knowledgeable about what is actually happening. Um, because, like you said, you can't just close your eyes and just, you have to be aware. And I think that was very beneficial for me because uh, I don't even remember my 30s. Like, I really don't. They were just there. And trying to grasp everything and figure out my life. And it was so poetic. But like I said, I don't remember my 30s. And fire really helped me. So that's why I think I want to get back into it. So I'll start with the fire eating, and then I still have all of my toys and stuff, and just find those and start all over.
Excellent. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a awesome experience to, reapproach, like you've taken a little bit of a break from it and allowed like parts of your life to settle. And now you're kind of in a place where things have balanced out a little bit. And so, and feeling a little bit more, it sounds like grounded and present within yourself to where you can like step back into it and this new version of yourself that you've become
Yes,
as a,
definitely.
as a seeing eye dog, part shark.
Yeah, shark.
Yes. Thank you.
I live
Horrible.
in onesies. It's so cozy.
How, also I'm thinking like the group of people at that time, like I had different waves over time of student groups, and some of them were very large and some of them were very small. And I feel like the group of people that were learning at the time, there was a relatively large group of people that you were growing with fire dance, wasn't there?
um, Kimba, Luann, Georgia. Oh, I
Right.
love Georgia. Um, and then Ran, is that her name? Um, and then there were a couple of other students. There was
Well,
a woman. Oh God, I love Dell. Yes, Dell. And Molly. And I,
Lacey.
yeah. Oh, Lacey. Yes, Lacey. I'm so bad with names. I can picture their faces, but I can't
Right.
remember all of their
Yeah,
names.
and anybody who happens to be watching this, like no disrespect if we haven't named your name, but it's hard to remember. As for me, especially, it's really hard to remember because there's been so many people. I have to go back to like copious notes I took
Yeah,
about who was in classes and say, oh right, oh right. So yeah.
I can picture her face. She had red hair, but I can't remember her name.
Hmm.
I can even picture the picture that that I'm thinking of.
I'm like, who are you thinking of? Oh, Jennifer.
Yes.
Yes, right. Of course, Jennifer, Alex's friend Jen. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know where she is right now, but I know for a while she was where you are. So I think so. Like, I don't know where she is in this current moment in time. I haven't been in touch with her either. So, yeah. So I'm curious about, because I know we were doing big group choreographies, right? Like things where it was like a lot of people and a lot of fire, and there's a lot of moving parts to it. Do you remember if that was fun or felt challenging or like how that felt?
It was fun just because we were all so different and different stages in our life and different talents. But it was fun because it all worked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, and it looked pretty. Oh, and Wesley and what's her name? Alicia.
Alicia. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm still in touch with Alicia actually. She's still been working on ink on my body. So
Nice. Tell her I said
uh,
hi.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, awesome. So let's go. So what else, like what other kind of creative things? So fire dance, what other kind of like what you would call creative things have you have been part of your life that have been helpful to you?
Um, so I'm a total nerd. I started doing jigsaw puzzles, and sometimes I'll do them with no music, just complete silence. And it's so calming and quiet, um, that I don't know, it just like makes me feel better. I tried knitting. I can only make a scarf. Anything that's just long.
Doing better than I am on that realm.
I've Billy and I, we've gone like crystal hunting, and there's an opal mine around here that we've gone to. We haven't found any, but just being outside, and it's nice because it's not super cold, um, but it's not super warm either.
Right. Okay, so like you find that the jigsaw puzzles are kind of like a meditation for you. Like they bring up a sense of like
Absolutely.
peace and calm and organization. It's kind of interesting because it's like you're putting bits and pieces of things together, right? Yeah,
Hmm.
there's like that focus and yeah, that calm that's coming in. And then the other part is like crystals, like going out and, there's a little adventure in that to me, like exploration and adventure. Like we're going to go out into nature and we're going to go, look for crystals and see what we can find here in these different areas. And
Hmm.
is like adventure something that you value in your life?
Absolutely. Like,
Mhm.
I can't just be bored. Bored is fine, totally fine being bored, um, but not for a long time.
What other ways have you woven adventure into your life, like the mindset of adventure?
Traveling, driving, um, conversations with people, who I always try to reach out to someone. Like if they randomly pop in my mind, I always will reach out to them. Or if I have a dream about them, then I'll be like, oh, I had a dream about you. This means I should reach out to you. So just trying to stay connected with humans that are nice.
That's been a theme, like humans that are nice, like nice people.
Yeah. Because I'm done with all of the bullshit. Like I don't like angry. I don't like political stuff. Just be nice. Like it's not that hard.
Yeah, right. We're all going to have our like differences and things are going to trigger us and all the different things, but ultimately, right, like, can't we all just get along and be nice to each other at least, right? Like,
Like hold the door open for someone. It's not that hard.
yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. Okay, awesome. What with adventure, what's your most memorable adventure, or is there one that you are like an adventure that you would want to take or have or experience that you have yet to?
I really enjoyed a trip that I took with my family to Niagara Falls. That was just fun. And it was my parents, my husband, my brother, and it was just so cozy because it was just all of us, and we didn't have an agenda. We just like went there to watch the falls. um, I had a very good time when I went to Bangkok, and we were in a flash flood, and the car filled up with water, and we became a vessel. That was terrifying, but I really liked Bangkok. That was fun. I just want to travel more. I finally got my passport updated, so that is my next goal.
Excellent. Yeah, so interesting little water theme there for a moment. Like you enjoyed a trip to Niagara Falls where it was peaceful, and then enjoyed a trip to Bangkok where the water took you over and sent you on. So there's a little bit of a theme going on here.
Yes.
It was like the
Yep.
fire with the poi, with the weaving to the knitting to the water. So like, yes, there is an adventure happening here.
And the calming of being in a pool and the sensory deprivation, like water and I are good.
Absolutely. And I'm right now kind of what I'm picking up on is I'm hearing some things that you're sharing that are kind of tying into just values, right? I wasn't thinking about this, but ultimately there's this kind of value of kindness, right? This importance of kindness and fun or joy, and a little bit of like adventure in there. Like what other kind of values, what else is meaningful to you in your life?
My health, my family, just my dog. Oh, my husband too. Um, uh, literally just not being so cranky and trying to focus on the things that are meaningful, like the people in my life that I care about.
Yeah. And it sounds like the qualities that help you keep all those in a good way are things like the kindness and the adventure and the fun help you. And then also like meditative things as well, like the jigsaw puzzle,
Mm-hmm.
uh, are ways that help you uh, focus on what's meaningful and also keep it in an energy and a frequency that feels right for you, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. What would you like to share here that I'm not asking you or we're not talking about? What do you think would be relevant to this conversation or just anything you'd like to share or talk about?
The thing that when I worked at the homeless shelter, the thing that I would always tell my clients is we don't get out of here alive, so don't take it so seriously and don't be a dick.
Are-
And they would make fun of me because, I'm 5 foot tall, like 105 pounds. And I would have grown ass men come into my office and leave just in tears because I was listening to them. And they they all kind of made a joke like, "Oh no, she's gonna make Kyle cry." Like, no, I'm not gonna make him cry. I'm listening to him. He has a story. We all have a story. Don't be a dick. So that is what I've taken in the last like 10 years of my life. Just not that hard to be nice.
Mhm. Absolutely. We all have a story. Be nice. So what would you say? How would you, if you were going to tune into the what's been your story, and what would you say? What's your story?
I always felt like I was like behind the scenes and like quiet. Um, but I think I need to be louder about what I value and what I can bring to other people. Just because I always thought, like, oh, no one cares about what Amanda thinks or what Amanda thought or what she's doing. But I need to own it a little bit more.
What helped you come to that that consideration and realization, like that awareness of you thinking that nobody cares about what Amanda thinks, and then kind of coming to the like needing to be a little bit louder. And was it that experience in the with the vets and the homeless people that kind of brought out like, wow, was it there, or what helps you come to that awareness?
Since I was a little kid, honestly, my uncle committed suicide when I was 11, and no one paid attention to me because they thought I was too young to know what was going on. I'm talking. So I put everything like quietly on myself to where I didn't want people to know that, that it affected me. And it did. And so now that I'm older, no, that was bullshit. Someone should have paid attention to me. And it took a long time in therapy to figure that out.
What can you do here to be a little bit louder in taking action in alignment with your values? What does that look like for you at this phase? Is that fire eating or what is it?
Fire eating, just because dancing with fire is so powerful because you have to be aware because things are on fire. And you have to be aware, you have to be present, and it's all consuming of yourself because I mean, yes, you could be my safety, but it's still on me. So I have to take care of it because I don't want to have to use you as my safety, right? I need to do it for myself. And that is really, really what I got from fire dancing, for sure.
Yeah, personal accountability.
Yes, 100%. And I
Mhm.
don't want to burn the building down.
Right. Or anybody else or ourselves or whatnot.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's always like the fire dancer is the first, the first response there, and
Mhm.
the safety is a backup. And even the best safety, sometimes like it's the fire dancer, can make it happen or can take it away, can resolve the problem before it even gets to the safety. Uh,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely. So, okay. So if you feel like by fire eating, it's kind of taking an action in alignment with your values, and that kind of helps you step out of that Amanda's behind the scenes and your voice doesn't matter. And it like that is kind of like your way to start stepping out at this point.
Yes. I'm excited to get back into it because I told a friend of mine I'm going to teach him how to fire eat and I'm going to make him torches. Um, and that's going to be his birthday present.
That's super cool. I love it.
Yes. I need to
Awesome.
get back into it.
Awesome. When did you make the decision to get back into it? How long ago was that?
Probably like 3, 4 months ago, because I found my torches in the closet. So like I've slowly moved them around my house and now they're on the kitchen table. Like this,
Excellent.
this is happening. So I told Billy, I was like, hey, the next time you go to Home Depot, can you get me some white gas? He's like, but why? I'm like, oh, because the torches that are on the kitchen table.
Right, the ones that I've been moving around. I'm actually
Yeah.
going to use them.
Yes, that is my plan.
Awesome. Okay, anything more you would like to share today while you're here and your voice is getting an opportunity to have its space? Anything else you would like to share?
It's been very nice talking to you. I haven't talked to you in a long time, and it just feels natural and sweet, and I've missed your face. I know we follow each other on social media, so like we can keep up with everything, but it's nice to actually hear your voice.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And I feel the same way too. Like I said, it's very interesting how it's been a long time, but it doesn't feel like it's been that long. Oh, I know what I wanted to ask you. I have one other question. Do you remember being nervous to perform fire?
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
Was that part of the like Amanda behind the scenes and kind of like stepping out and kind of like, oh no, now I'm up here on stage?
Yeah, because people were actually looking at me, and I always wanted to be like behind the scenes. And so once I was on stage with fire in my hands, I had to be all present in myself while knowing that everyone was staring at me.
Yeah. I think I took that a little bit for granted back in the day, like underestimating how um like underestimating how frightening that can be. Because like it, I can't say I ever really felt like that, honestly. Like, I mean, I did when it came to public speaking. Like when Dell used to get me interviews to go on TV, that's where my insecurity came out, was like, oh no, like, no, I've got to talk, like say something. And I just feel like, you know, but
See, I
yeah,
speak all day long. I mean, I can, as long as I know what I'm talking about. But fire dancing took me so far out of my comfort zone. Um, but it kind of brought me into a sort of comfort zone, if that makes sense.
absolutely. I think it does push out of the it does test the comfort zone in a very interesting way. It's like, you know, we all know that growth happens outside of the comfort zone, right? And it's this elusive thing we talk about without really knowing, like we might know, well, our comfort zone is this or that, but fire is one of those things. And even if somebody likes it, it still takes them out of their comfort zone. And then also getting up on stage, whether it be dancing or speaking, for a lot of people does kind of expose them in a certain way. And I think that's just a really marvelous way to work on ourself.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
absolutely. And I know, like, for me, it was all about, you know, fire dancing and poi and whatnot. And now, as I've done a little reflecting and looking back, I've kind of been like, well, a lot of the people that came to learn, it was about their own personal life transformation, kind of stepping out of their fears
Yeah.
and coming into themselves. And it was this like subtle behind the scenes sort of directive that was happening. And you know, and it's cool. It's just cool to see. And I always I think part of my curiosity is how that experience of like stepping out of the comfort zone and like, you know, working with your life. Like you said, you were in your 30s, you were kind of not totally embodied, and a lot of it was just a big wash, and you weren't totally knowing exactly what you were doing. But fire stood out as this catalyst or this creative process that came in to give you this way of working through your life that eventually kind of had something to do with the direction and the choices that you made and where you went with things. So,
Oh
uh,
yeah, I wouldn't change it for the world. Like it created what I am now. Like it
yeah.
really has.
Yeah, it's like therapy has its place, and I think that that like is like fire dancing or like poi, especially poi and fire dancing would be the two things, because it's like those are the two. I mean, fire eating too, because it's coming right up in your face.
Yeah.
But I think with poi, with it moving all over and having to really learn like new neural pathways, like retrain the brain, is this way that's really helpful to change our patterning in a way. So then when you add fire to it, it just starts to weave this whole new reality in such a subtle way. And to me, it is like therapy, right? It goes
Oh,
hand.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I was like the stepping out on stage and that insecurity that's there, that people kind of get that stage fright. How do you feel about it now? Like if I was to be like, "Oh, hey Amanda, like there's a show coming up and like I want you to come perform in this show." How would you feel about it now?
Um, Now, well, I would need to practice. Um, but now, like, I would do cartwheels. Like, I, I'll do a backflip if I need to because how I feel about it and what I learned from it has taken me like different spaces. It's perfect.
Yep. I call that stepping out from behind the fire. So the fire is what we hide behind in life. And there's a point where we have to step out and just allow ourselves to be ourselves, vulnerable and true and authentic, and whatever that looks like.
Yes.
Uh, yeah. So yeah, cool. Okay. Anything else you'd like to share?
No, I think we're good.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for appearing today on this episode and sharing and chatting a little bit about fire and life. And it's been nice to catch up with you.
You too, doggy. Sorry.
It's okay. All right. Well, let's close down. And I thank you so much for your presence today.
Absolutely.
Yes. Cool.
Thank you. I'll do it.
You are going to put it out first?
Yep.
We're fine.
You touch your hand. Yeah.
I am out of fuel.
You do it wrong. Did you try it on your hand? Come here.
We'll try doing it.
I'll do it.
You are going to put it out first?
Yep.
We're fine.